Is it true that freezing food makes it less nutritious? It is typical for families to buy or cook in large quantities and then freeze some of it. Many people, however, have questioned the usefulness and safety of this storage approach. Is it safe to freeze food? The nicest aspect about buying unprocessed foods like fruits and vegetables from local shops or markets is that you are getting them fresh, at their peak nutritional worth. But what happens after a few days? They begin to lose a lot of nutrients. This is where storage techniques such as freezing come into play. In general, freezing aids in the preservation of nutritional elements in food such as fruits and vegetables. However, you should not keep a frozen food for more than a year because some nutrients may begin to degrade at that time. While freezing food does not destroy bacteria in the food, it does keep the food fresher for longer by rendering bacteria inactive throughout the freezing process. To guarantee that you eat safe food, check sure infectious organisms do not contaminate it before storing it. Also, before eating, bring the food to the necessary temperature. Is frozen food less nutritious than fresh food? The popular fallacy is that freezing food decreases its nutritional content and so makes it less healthful. That, however, is not the case. Rather, the contrary is true. When you freeze fresh foods, they retain their nutritional content, the vitamins and minerals remain intact, as do the proteins, lipids, and carbohydrates. Frozen food may even have more nutritional value than unfrozen food because, in some situations, foods lose vitamins and minerals when not frozen. Vegetables, for example, begin to lose moisture, increasing the danger of spoilage and decreasing nutritional value. According to one study, unfrozen meals chilled at 4 degrees Celsius lost more nutrients after 3 days than those stored in a freezer at -20 degrees Celsius. While vegetables lose nutritional value, such as vitamins, after harvest, a study found that storing them in the refrigerator improves antioxidant activity. Food waste can be reduced by freezing foods. It is a convenient approach to save time when purchasing goods on a regular basis and can help maximize kitchen space. Guidelines for properly freezing food. There is no single best freezing method. The ideal approach to freeze your food will differ based on aspects such as the nature of the food, example, is it cooked or raw, and the microbiology of the food. It will also be determined by the physical structure of the food, the length of time you wish to preserve it, and the effect of freezing on the food structure. Here are some helpful hints for using the freezer as a storage option. Food should be exposed to as little air as possible. When your frozen products are exposed to air, they can develop oxidative rancid flavors. To keep air away from the product, utilize airtight containers or wrapping sheets. Remove as much air as possible from a freezer bag before placing in your food products. Select the undesirables. Before you freeze your goods, make sure you remove the harmful ones. Pick out the fruits that are no longer fresh or on the edge of going rotten before freezing them. This is due to the fact that the bad ones may infect the good ones before they freeze, and freezing may not eliminate the germs either. After sorting the food, wash the washable goods, such as fruits, strain them thoroughly, and allow them to dry before putting them in the freezer. Before freezing vegetables, blanch them. Blanching is the process of momentarily putting food, especially vegetables, in hot water, then removing it and placing it in freezing water. Blanching is advised because it prevents enzymatic reactions on the food, softens the outside while keeping the inside crisp, helps the food retain its color for longer, and sweetens it even more. Blanching must be done correctly in order to achieve its goal. Boil the food product for 45 to 60 seconds, then scoop it out and immerse it in ice-cold water. Before putting the produce in the freezer, remove it and pat it dry. Food should be stored at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. To keep the quality of your foods, keep them at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. This is done to extend the shelf life of your food. Determine the temperature of your freezer with your freezer thermometer. You can also consult your freezer's owner's handbook for recommended settings for various usages. Food should not be frozen in glass bottles. Food should not be frozen in glass containers. This is due to the fact that glass can burst at extremely low temperatures. For storing, it is advisable to use wrapping sheets or plastic containers. Ascertain that the container has a watertight seal. Foods that should not be frozen. While freezing food is a great technique to preserve it and keep its nutrients intact, there are some foods that should not be frozen. Canned goods and shelled eggs, for example, do not freeze well. Cream-based goods, such as yogurt, light cream, sour cream, and custards, are other examples of foods that should be avoided being frozen. They will separate when you freeze them. Foods that are fried, they will get soggy. Water-rich vegetables and fruits, such as lettuce, cucumbers, and melon, they will get soggy when thawed. Pasta cooked to perfection will get soggy unless undercooked. Irish potatoes, milk sauces, gelatin, fruit jam, mayonnaise, cheese, cooked rice, butter, sausage, and sour cream are some more items that may not turn out well if frozen, especially for an extended period of time.